Hi everyone. Last night, along with Kerry, who's going to be supporting me throughout my Land's End to John O'Groats challenge, we had the opportunity to chat with Karina Wilson. Karina is an LA-based writer and story consultant who works in TV and feature film development over in the United States. It was an amazing opportunity to share what's been going on as we move closer to the start of the challenge. And I hope you find it interesting.
So, hello, ladies. I'm really happy to be here and talking to you about this amazing and quite mind-blowing challenge that you've set yourselves. Would you like to start by just introducing yourselves and who you are? Because I know people are going to come new to this video.
My name's Sarah. I am, what am I? I'm going to be running from Land's End to John O'Groats, the second part. The first part went slightly disastrously wrong. So yeah, I will be carrying on with that. But in my ordinary non-running life, I am an outdoor education tutor. And I just enjoy running to get outside. It stops me going insane. And it's just become a huge part of my life.
Well, my name is Kerry. I'm going to be Zara's Parker. She's going to be Lady Penelope on this epic trip up to John O'Groats. I met Zara through Banner, the charity, which is fantastic. And we've been friends ever since. And I don't know how many years we've been friends now. But myself, I run like Zara, not as far, not as fast. I'm into my keep fit. I work at rugby school as a music administrator. And yeah, I'm really glad that I'm off for Easter so I can help out.
Okay, wonderful. Now, it's a huge undertaking, and obviously your main goal is to run all the way from Land's End to John O'Groats. But what are your other goals? What else do you hope to achieve by doing this?
So my initial thoughts when I came up with this challenge were to raise awareness of the condition that both Kerry and I have had, so that's an acoustic neuroma brain tumour. But, you know, throughout our own journeys, it's not just a brain tumour, there's all the other stuff that comes with it, the hidden things that people don't see, the hidden things that people don't understand, and the things that are really hard to explain. So because trying to get that message across is so difficult, I thought I had to do something quite drastic to sort of get out there and sort of make those points, get those points across. So for me personally, it's about raising awareness of the brain tumour that we had, the sort of symptoms of brain tumours in general, the hidden impact of brain tumours. So, I mean, for me, I was left with 50% balance function. I've lost my hearing on my left side. That's had a huge impact on my career. I was teaching music. I was working as a high-level teaching assistant in a primary school. I've been unable to continue in that environment because of my hearing loss. I then sort of pivoted, if you like, into photography and had a photography business for a while. Again, the impact of my surgery, I suppose, left me with chronic fatigue. And for me, one of those triggers is working in front of a screen for a long time. So again, that impacted on that business. And together with COVID and all of that faff that we've had over the last few years, I decided, you know, I can't do this. It was too much of a struggle. And again, so that's had a huge impact on my life, financially, psychologically. And these are things that people don't see, people don't understand. And that's part of my reason for getting out there and doing this challenge, as well as fundraising.
And fundraising, I mean, it sounds like, you know, this is about defiance for you, that you're just not going to accept the way, you're not going to accept that you are debilitated by this brain tumour. You're going to go out and do something, you're going to perform an incredible physical feat despite the tumour.
That is the hope, yeah.
Yeah, that is the
hope. Hopefully I get a bit better than last time.
Yeah, Kerry, what are your goals as Parker to Lady Penelope? What are
My-
you hoping to achieve over
My
over the
goal
next?
is to make sure that Zara crosses the line and touches the pole at John O'Groats. That is a big goal for me. I want her to get to the very end. My goal is also for her to get there in one piece, but keep morale up. I think that is going to be the biggest thing. Is, as a runner and doing ultras myself, I know that feeling when you sort of go quiet three-thirds of the way into a race, and the cheering on the side of the roads is what keeps your morale up. So I'm going to be her little cheerleader and get her through every leg. Yeah, that's my goal.
I mean, the loneliness of the long distance runner is a real thing, isn't it? When you're kind of out there and it's just you and the tarmac and
my goal is to make sure she's fed and watered. It's really important to keep the nutrition and the calories. And I know from running myself that you have this incredible feeling that after a certain amount of miles, you don't feel hungry, even though you should naturally be hungry. So I've got to make sure that she eats her snacks and eats her dinner and eats her tea. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, food is crucial. Making sure that she gets the fuel that she needs is absolutely crucial. So we're about 4.5 weeks out now. How are you feeling? Because obviously, you've been planning for this for a while, but the start date is approaching really quickly. How are you feeling in yourselves about the project?
Nervous. I'm surprised how quickly it's come around. At the start of the year, but maybe it was just before Christmas, I didn't have a date on it because I couldn't find somebody to support with this challenge. And obviously until I had that in place, I couldn't plan anything else. So that when Kerry came forward, that sort of countdown began. But the last few weeks really have just absolutely flown by. And I can't believe we're now 4.5, 5 weeks out. I feel very paranoid about every little niggle that I have at the moment, especially after picking up an injury last time around. So I'm determined not to go down that route again. I've been doing lots of strength and conditioning, lots of physio work, all sorts of things to try and strengthen those areas that are going to take a pounding with running on tarmac for so long. So I think I'm more nervous than last time because the issues that I thought I would have didn't really materialise. So now I've got more to worry about. But yeah, it's nerve-wracking for sure. But I'm also keen to get on with it and feeling, excited. I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, I'm excited, but yeah, there are the nerves, obviously.
Yes, it's good that you are excited and you just don't have the sort of a feeling of dread overpowering you at this stage. Kerry, you've been taking on sort of more of the kind of practical arrangements, haven't you? So how are you feeling at this stage about the logistics of it all, the driving the camper van, making sure you've got somewhere to sleep at night, as you just mentioned, food? How's all that going?
Well, all our campsites, etc., accommodation is all booked. I'm really chuffed about that because you just didn't know if that was, going to all fall into place, but it has. I'm really excited about driving the camper van because I've wanted one my whole life. So this is my way of getting my little gift to myself for a few weeks, which would be fantastic. Obviously, I'm a bit nervous about driving the camper van. I've not driven one before, although I've driven minibuses and whatnot, so I'm sure I'll be okay. Logistically, I think we're all in place for that. I've emailed so many running clubs to invite them along. That's my big goal as well, to try and get as many people to join Zara on the way for morale and support and have company on the way, because obviously I'll be driving, so I won't be running with her. Actually, I will be running on some stages. Yeah.
So Zara, what does your regime look like on a daily basis? Like how many hours a day do you spend training, and what kind of things are you doing to prep for this?
So if I take this week as an example, so the last couple of weeks have been quite sort of heavy training load weeks. So I get up in the morning, I spend a bit of time doing yoga and stretching. Then I do my strength and conditioning. then I've had hour-long runs, so probably about 5 miles. But this week has been a focus on very much sort of getting that routine dialed in, and wearing the kit that I'll be wearing at the time. Thinking I've got a 40-mile day, we're breaking it down into 5-mile blocks, which makes it a bit easier psychologically, although I did have a bit of a wobble earlier this week. But yeah, so 5-mile blocks, out and back. And I've had a rest day today, which seems quite novel. I've been sat around wondering what to do and trying to do nothing. And then the weekend, so I've got another sort of hour-long run tomorrow. And then this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I've got about 15 miles to do Saturday, 20 on Sunday. And again, they will be out and back runs. So 5 miles, or 2.5 mile out, then 2.5 back. Treating my front porch as though it's the camper van. So topping up with my supplies and everything there before going out and doing it again a couple more times. So yeah, it's all about getting that routine dialed in and not, neglecting the small stuff, like, the sock changes, having the first aid kit ready, fluids topped up and all of that stuff. So yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely vital that you have Kerry's 24/7 support on this. Explain how you're going to work as a team, and maybe just expand on how when other people have tried this, they've worked with much larger teams. But what makes you think you can do it with just the two of you?
I sometimes think less is more. I think the fewer moving parts there are, the fewer things can go wrong. So it's nice to have Kerry there for the duration. Obviously the first few days we'll both be settling into a routine with it, but the plan is that we will set off in the morning, quite an early start. Kerry will meet me 5 miles down the road. Again, we'll do that, check the fluids, check I've got enough snacks to keep me going, carry on to the next 5-mile point. So that's really good. I know other people have had bigger teams in the past, and you know what, that would be absolutely fantastic, but you've got to work with what you've got, and it's just the two of us, and that's absolutely fine. And lots of people have said they're going to be available if we need help with anything along the way, which is great. And there's people on the end of the phone if we need medical advice or anything like that, which is always a good backup plan.
Yeah, I mean, what can people along the route do to help you? I mean, obviously, there's things that people can do who are watching this video. There are things that they can do right now to help, and there are things that that get added in as you approach your start date, and then obviously when the run begins. But what are the kind of things that what types of support are you looking for from whoever might be watching this?
So last time around, we were really unlucky with the weather. So one of the big issues that we had was getting laundry done on the go. That was really hard, and that was a real challenge for us. After a couple of days, I'd run out of dry shoes, and it was just proving impossible to get things dry quick enough to reuse them. So I've upgraded some of my kit as a result of that, to try and make that easier. But we have had people that have come forward and said that if we need to have any washing done or anything like that, then they will be available to come and pick it up and drop it off, which is amazing. So that's been really helpful. We've also had people that have said they're going to come along and run a little bit with us, which is great, because I was posting about this morning, and you really underestimate how much that means when you're out there on the road and you're just looking at the ground or looking at your watch or looking at a map, and everything's aching. And to have somebody come along for just a few miles is great support. I'm not going to be going fast. I can't go fast for that distance. I think a lot of people are like, you must be going really fast to be doing that distance. But so for me, that's really nice to know that people will come out and maybe just run a few miles, or a little park run distance, whatever, and that's a great support for me.
And that's nice to as a way, that is a good way of getting involved as well, about a way of feeling part of this huge undertaking. So I think for both of you, the same question. What are your hopes and fears sort of for the first, for the next few weeks? Like, what do you hope is going to go right? What are you worried is going to go wrong? And then once you start running?
I'm hoping that I can get through the rest of my training without any niggles. That would be amazing. I'm praying for better weather than I had last time around, because that was really unfortunate. I think we just got really unlucky and hit sort of 2 Atlantic storms coming in over Cornwall in 4 days, which was pretty horrific. So it can't be that bad again, hopefully. Good weather. I hope the rest of my training goes well, and I hope I don't pick up any injuries between now and then. But yeah, I don't really feel like I stopped training at any point, because I've spent I spent a year training up to the last start from Land's End, and then obviously I had my injury, but throughout that time when I was recovering from the injury, I was still training and doing cardio work on a turbo trainer, lots of weight training and that kind of stuff, things in the pool that I could do. So it doesn't feel like at any point I've had a break from training. So
wow,
want to kind of crack on and get it done now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Kerry, what about you? What are your hopes and fears?
Do you really want to know? I hope that on the Friday when I'm travelling up to Zara's, there's not a train strike, because that'd be a right bummer, excuse my French. And I hope my boss is watching this. I actually want to leave work earlier so that I can get the train that's not going to be on strike to get to Zara's on the Friday, because we're going to go out for a meal, aren't we, with all your family before we set off. My other fear is I don't really fear anything much. I'll take everything in my stride. But what I don't want is a massive snow bomb happening at all, anywhere in England or Scotland, to make it slippy and slidey. One for me driving the camper van, because we don't want the A9 shut, and for Zara running.
Now, the thing that you both have in common, other than being runners, is the brain tumour. Do you want to just talk a little bit about how that affects you and what techniques you use to bypass those negative effects? And is there any way in which you think having to deal with a growth in your brain has given you a secret superpower? Has it just being able to embrace that? Has that given you something that you didn't have?
I think superpower is a nice way of putting it. I don't feel very full of superpowers a lot of the time, but it certainly puts a different perspective on life. It makes you embrace challenges all the more. It makes you, I don't know, in some ways appreciate those difficulties, because, running is a challenge, especially those distances, but it's nothing compared to standing up with the help of 2 people and realizing that you couldn't walk to a chair that's like 1.5 meters away. So for me, I think it's given me the ability to sort of draw on those events in my past, and that was my benchmark then. I think, well, if I got through that, I can do this. I just put one foot in front of the other, and keep going. I think it's made me perhaps more stubborn than I was before, more determined. And I'm not one to give up easily. We did have the conversation in the camper van on the way down last time, and I did say, unless my leg's hanging off or I'm having a catastrophic bleed from somewhere, I am not stopping. So I wasn't impressed. I ended up in A&E a few days later. But yeah, it's one of those things. It happens, and now it's that again is something else now that will help me going forward. That happened last time. This time I'm not going to let that happen as much as I can. So, and even if
great. What about you, Kerry?
Well, having been diagnosed the same year as Zara, I was relieved, because I thought I was going mad in the head. And I was a very positive person anyway, and I liked, to go out here, there and everywhere. But this has definitely made me really appreciate life. And maybe had I have not had Bert, and I saw Zara doing this on Facebook, would I have offered to help? Or would I have wished, oh, I wish I could do that? Having the brain tumour has made me want to do absolutely everything and anything and just grab life by the short and curlies and just sign up for absolutely everything. So that's what it's done for me. It's made me definitely happier. I know that sounds a bit strange, but it has, because you realise you don't know how long we're all going to be on this planet. So absolutely make the most of everything. And if someone asks you to do something, just say yes.
Just say yes. That's great.
Yeah.
So just to move towards the end on something a bit lighter, has anything kind of funny happened while you've been prepping for this? Because it seems such a serious endeavor, and obviously, Zara, you've been very determined, very dogged with your training. Has there been anything which has just made you go, made you laugh?
Just winter training in general, I think. I was very fortunate. The first cold snap that we had back in December, we booked a holiday. So I was actually in Tenerife, trail running on mountains out there, which was great. So I dodged the icy roads and I managed to get that week's training in. And then, of course, probably a month or so ago, we had another cold snap. And prior to that, we'd had lots of rain. And I decided this one particular day to go trail running, and it was just horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. So I did have one occasion where I kind of fell rather unelegantly into a, well, I don't know, there was a path there somewhere, but I tried to dodge it, and it just went very wrong, and I got very wet and muddy. But yeah, all good fun.
What about you, Kerry?
Me. I'm going to show you something. Bear with. So
the hula hoop.
This is my famous hula hoop. So hula hoop, not necessarily that one, because it's actually breaking because I've used it so much. I'm actually going to be taking a hula hoop with me. So on the side of the road, I will be doing my Joe Wicks and hula hooping and wearing T-shirts that I've asked people to donate. So each day I'm going to do a lucky dip. So, you know, Joe Blogs, I'm wearing your T-shirt today, and I'm going to hula hoop on the side of the road whilst I'm wearing for Zara. And that is actually to draw attention to me and the camper van that's going to have all things, all the charities on there and all the sponsors advertised on the side. And hopefully then people can chat to me. But nothing major's happened to me, nothing funny, but I do laugh every time I hula hoop. Yeah, thinking,
Okay.
Oh, what am I going to look like?
I think it's impossible to hula hoop without laughing and smiling, because it is the most innately ridiculous thing, but it's also a great fitness exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously the countdown is very much on. When do you think your next video check-in will be? When should people look for another one of these updates?
Okay, probably in a couple of weeks' time, because I think with training being full on, it's been hard to kind of focus on the social media side of things as well. So it is definitely a balancing act trying to get videos out there, but in some respects it's easier to post a quick video. So I will be putting something up probably in the next week or so, and then again before we hit the road, and probably whilst we're out on the road there will be lots of video updates, I think.
Okay, excellent.
Facebook and Instagram and anywhere else we can get away with it.
Yeah, and in the meantime, people can like and share and subscribe. The links are on the website and on the Facebook page, and it's going to be one of those things where I'm really excited to follow along. Even though I'll be in California by then, I'm really excited to follow along and see your daily progress and be cheering from the sidelines, because I cannot imagine doing this myself. It's an absolutely eye-popping challenge to set yourself, and it's so exciting that you're doing this after a first failed attempt, that you're actually saying, no, I'm going to go back and get in there.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to add as a final word?
Everything really, as you said, is going to be online. So people can go over to my website, which is www.sara, so SARA, Crossland, CROSSLAND.com/LEJOG. And on that page, you will see a little bit about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. There is also a link to a video of a short film we made about the first attempt. And also on there is an interactive map that you'll be able to follow along. So that will be updated every couple of minutes. So you'll be able to see the distance we've done each day, the amount of ascent we've done each day. And also there is information about the charities we're fundraising for. So there is the School-Based Foundation, which is supporting research into school-based disease, Brain Tumour Research, which is another big UK charity that supports research into all types of brain tumours, and finally BANA, the British Acoustic Neuroma Association, for which I'm an ambassador for. So again, they support people, and they're the only charity actually that in the UK that solely supports people with acoustic neuroma. Yeah, so all that information along with the fundraising links are on that page.
Okay, great. Well, wonderful to talk to you, and I look forward to being updated on your progress.
Thank you very much.